What do you do in a race? When you fall down, you get back up. When you fall down, you just pick yourself back up and start running without even realizing it. Imagine you're getting late for class, you're running, you fall down, and before you even realize it, you're up and 5 feet ahead. So yes, we will try, we will make attempts, we may fail, so what? Get up, try again. Run forward before you even realize that. That's what we're here to do, that's our purpose, that's our journey in this world. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, do not be like the people who forgot Allah and Allah made them forget themselves. Natural consequence of that is that those people will be fasiqeen in the world. They will create rebellion, they will create chaos in the world. They've forgotten Allah, they don't know who they are, they don't know what they're doing here, so yes, they will be creating chaos. They'll be saying, إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ مُسْلِمُونَ. We're the real people who are setting things right, but they are the people who are creating chaos. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our worth, connecting to the topic, what is your worth? Your worth is that soul that comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is not this animal body. If we dedicate our lives for anything else, if we dedicate our life to our desires, to food, eating better food, to having, you know what, and different ways of doing that, through eyes, ears, whatever, or dedicate our lives or waste our lives away for people, for countries, for tribes. If we do any of that, then we are selling ourselves cheap. Our worth is Jannah. Our worth is the qurb and the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the price tag with which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent us in this world. And if we fail to realize it, if we fail to recognize that, if we fail to see the Jannah, the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala written on that price tag, then we failed our purpose. And yes, we will be going towards pathetic and gruesome things in this world and destroying our lives and destroying ourselves. Doing work of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the people. So that people see me, people like me, people praise me. I have sold myself cheap. I have sold myself for peanuts. My worth was Jannah. My worth was the reward of pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, كُلُّ النَّاسِ يَغْدُو بَائِعٌ نَفْسَهُ. Every single person wakes up in the morning as a seller of themselves. You wake up with yourselves on sale. Either you will buy for yourself a place in heaven with whatever you have, or you will sell yourself for a piece of pie. Every single day you need to realize that. Every single day. Every single minute that we spend doing whatever we're doing, we're selling ourselves. And a person is putting labor, hard labor, from the early in the morning to the evening. He's selling himself. He's going to get some money for that. You work in your offices, you work at your hospitals, you're selling your abilities, you're selling your talents. For those who sell their talents for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ اشْتَرَى مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ أَنفُسَهُمْ وَأَمْوَالَهُمْ بِأَنَّ لَهُمُ الْجَنَّةَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has purchased from the believers, from the true believers, believers who recognize that that void inside of me, that gap inside of me, that restlessness inside of me is my ruh crying out, for it wants the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. People who recognize that and live it by loving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more than any other thing in this world. Any other ideal, any other passion, anything else they want to do, these are the real believers. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He has bought them. He has purchased them. Their lives, and their money, and their property from Him. They're not people of this world anymore. They're people of Akhirah. And yes, when these people, they get a spear through their head, they will smile. They will be happy. Like the Sahabi was happy when the spear went through his head. Goes to the Lord of Kaaba. I have succeeded, I swear by the Lord of Kaaba. And that's what it says. So that's what it is. And how do we prevent this from happening? How do we prevent ourselves from forgetting ourselves, forgetting our realities, forgetting what is good for us and what is bad for us? How do we do that? We do it by the taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. By having the taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by constantly remembering, be conscious of Him, and remembering the tomorrow. Be investors, be far-sighted people investing in our tomorrow. That's how we make sure. The opposite of forgetting is what? Being aware, right? So if you forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is what this ayah is saying, how do you stop that from happening? Is that you make sure that you remember Him, that you have the taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the next ayah, لَا يَسْتَوِي أَصْحَابُ النَّارِ وَأَصْحَابُ الْجَنَّةِ. The people of fire and the people of paradise are not equal. But this materialistic world, but this secular world, but this world that only believes in this body as being all there is and not believing in the ruh, what they believe is that when you die, death, the great leveler, levels everyone to the ground, your bones crumble, your body dies out, disintegrates, and you're part of the dust. Everything is the same for everyone, all have the same end known. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَا يَسْتَوِي أَصْحَابُ النَّارِ وَأَصْحَابُ الْجَنَّةِ. People of fire and people of heaven cannot be equal. Apparently, yes, both of them have disintegrated. But reality, what's going on with their arwah, with their ruh, with their reality, with their essence, with their true fitrah on which they were created, that was the ruh. What is happening with that? Is that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, they're not equal. The real successful people are the people of Jannah, are the people of paradise. We have different parameters of success in this world. We have different parameters for success in this world. Success in the hereafter is on taqwa. Like the Quran says, taqwa is colorblind. You can have absolutely nothing. Not even 2 square meals a day. The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, if you want to judge him by the standards of this dunya, then he was not a successful person. For months on end, he did not have a fire burn in his house. He went on dates and water. That's all he had. He slept on the floor. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He suffered through pain. He did not have a huge wardrobe. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. From all the ideas and parameters of success that we're constantly bombarded with in this dunya, that we grow up with, the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and all the Anbiya, pretty much most of them, they weren't successful people. They were successful people. Majority of them failed in the mission they were sent for apparently in this dunya. They left with 1 or 2 followers or with no followers at all, some of them. Were they successful though? In reality they were successful. In reality they were successful. So moving on, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then tells us in the next ayah, لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله. The way to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to nurture that soul, to give it strength, to make sure it does not forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and therefore we forget ourselves and become the fasiqeen, and to recognize what real success is, we need to recognize the ayat of the world. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls the ayat, this phenomena of nature, and whatever is within us, ayat, signs with which we remember Him. He also calls the ayat of the Quran ayat, signs with which we remember Him, and within the kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The entire collection of that, these are the ayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the greatness of that is expressed in this ayah, unlike any other ayah in the Quran. Had this Quran, لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله. If this Quran was revealed to a mountain, it would have humbled itself, it would have been rendered asunder, it would have destroyed and disintegrated. These are parables that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala draws for us, because the language of the Quran is Arabic. Is language that humans develop, right? Language that humans develop, and humans develop languages through observation. We see things, we hear things, and we come up with languages. But for things that are beyond the comprehension of our 5 senses, that go beyond that, to explain those, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses parables. And the greatness of the Quran falls into that, something we cannot compute, something we cannot understand completely. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses this parable that had it been revealed to a mountain, it would have blown up. It would have disintegrated. It would have humbled itself. So this is a thought. This is a food for thought for us to see how hard are our hearts, how forgotten are our souls, how deeply buried under these human and under these bodily desires is our soul, that we don't feel it. That they are harder than mountains. Mountains humble themselves. Mountains would have blown themselves up. But when these ayat are being recited on us, how do we react? Do we humble ourselves? Or we go breaking down into pieces? How hard are our hearts? The kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if anyone recognizes the greatness of the kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is He Himself. And if anyone comes close in dunya amongst the creation, then that's the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about His Quran, about swears by فَلَا أُقْسِمُ بِمَوَاقِعِ النُّجُومِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swears by the place where the stars set, where the stars disappear. The modern interpreters and the mufassirin of the Quran say, you heard about the dark holes? Or those black holes? Yeah, black holes. What happens in the black holes? Galaxies disappear. Galaxies disappear. Galaxies that are millions of light years. They disappear. How huge is that? Millions of light years, huge galaxies disappear in black holes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِنَّهُ لَقَسَمٌ لَوْ تَعْلَمُونَ عَظِيمٌ. This is a huge qasam if you but realized, you but knew. And what is this qasam on? وَإِنَّهُ لَقُرْآنٌ. This Quran, the azmat of this Quran is what the huge black holes, the setting, the places where stars set, they bear witness to the greatness of this kitab of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's how amazing this kitab is. That's how amazing this book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When this book, Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu was seen crying and laughing at the same time. Somebody asked him, what's going on? Why were you laughing and why were you crying? He said, I remembered the days of Jahiliyyah, when I did not have Quran, when I did not have Iman, when I did not have Islam. I laughed because I once went on a journey and I was hungry. I went on a journey, I was hungry, I had my dates. Then I felt like worshipping, I had forgotten my portable God. They have portable PlayStation, they have portable gods. So he molded his clump, his dates, into a shape and bowed down to that. And he's like, I remembered that, so I laughed. And he's like, I remembered in other incidents from my times of Jahiliyyah, and in that I was burying my own daughter with my own hands. And she lifted her hands and wiped off a little bit of dust from my beard. And it did not matter to me, and I buried her alive. And that made me cry. These two events, they were of no consequence to him when he did not have Quran, when he did not have this azim Quran. Burying his daughter was not a matter of to cause tears flowing from his eyes. It was not. It was something very natural that he could have done easily. He did do it easily. And worshipping a clump of dates was very normal. It wasn't funny. But when the Quran came, when Quran entered the heart of Umar ibn al-Khattab, the one who in Jahiliyyah was torturing his slave girl because she accepted Islam, and he went through the entire day torturing her and stopped and told her, I'm not stopping because I feel sorry for you, I stopped because I'm tired. That person about whom another Sahabi said that the donkey of his father would embrace Islam before he does. He heard the Quran, he melted, and his life changed, and he became the Amir al-Mu'minin.